It is so fascinating to me how a computer company can put together a new model, a new version of a particular computer, and it can appear in your store with the software and all the goodies that go with it. And it doesn't really cause much of a fanfare. It comes in, it begins to sell, it goes out, shmeh, there it is. And yet, there are other companies that can talk about launching their new model, and the night before, people will go and camp outside that store and lie and sleep in the streets in their sleeping bags so that they can be up when that door opens the next morning, and they can be the first ones to get in and buy that computer because it is that computer. They just want to be the first ones to go and get it. Very often at a mall, you'll see a restaurant in a particular area of the mall that has got a queue waiting to get in, and literally across the passage can be another store that is standing empty. And yet for some reason, people will prefer to queue and wait a bit of time to get into a specific restaurant or clothing, whatever the situation might be. There's some folk who will spend a fortune on a certain type of clothing because there's a name associated with it. And I just think humans are incredibly peculiar, or maybe it's just me, as my wife would probably agree. The reality is, folks, we're talking about branding, and companies have spent a lot of money creating a look and a feel that appeals to a certain demographic of people. They love the way they look in this particular clothing, or they love the way they look when they work with this particular computer or eat at this particular store or live in a particular area. They love the way it makes them feel, and they love the way that they believe it makes other people perceive them when they're wearing that clothing or using that computer or living in that particular area. It's just a fascinating thing that very often human beings don't act the way they think they are. They don't act the way other people think they are, but they go ahead and they act the way they think other people think they are. And it's all around branding, and it is a multi-billion-dollar industry right now. There are companies who make a fortune, and there's companies who pay a fortune to hire these other guys to design a brand that appeals to the demographic that this company wants to sell to. We know that we're a consumer society and we all identify with it straight away, and I'm not saying that it is a bad thing. I think a company should know what it stands for. I think a company should do the best it can to create a product that offers A, B, and C, whatever A, B, and C might be. So I'm not saying this is a bad thing. What I really am saying, though, is have you taken some time out to think about, particularly as salespeople, that over time, our practice and the way that we sell and the way that we interact with people, we develop a personal brand. Are you the way you are because it's just the way you are? Or have you ever stopped to consider that in the same way that companies spend a fortune investing in their brand, that maybe you can invest in your own brand? Is it possible for me to change certain behaviors or to bring on certain behaviors that will get people to like, love, and trust me quicker and be happier to do business with me? And it's a bit of a debate. The real question, though, is if you could build your brand, would you? Is it something that you would give some time, energy, and effort to? I think back to the very first business mentor that I had. I was 22 years old or 23 years old, selling life insurance, and my branch manager was a man by the name of Ronnie Fouchier. Great guy, a real character, probably take memories of him to my deathbed. Had a huge impact on me, and he said, "My boy, I can guarantee you that I've got a methodology that if you adhere to it, will get people to perceive you the way you want them to." So I thought, this is interesting stuff. Tell me more. And he said, well, it's very, very simple. If you want people to think that you're a man of integrity, then why don't you just go and behave with integrity? Do integrous business. Let your yes be yes. Let your no be no. If you want people to perceive that you're a caring person, then why don't you just go out and care for them? If you want people to think that you're generous, just go out and be generous. If you want people to trust you, make sure that you're always operating in a trustworthy manner. And so my question to you once again, have you accepted that you are the way you are because that's the way you are? In other words, just love me because I was born this way, as some people would like to suggest. Or do you believe that your personal brand is in actual fact a choice? And you could exercise influence upon that and build a better personal brand. Lots to think about. My personal belief is that your brand is 100% your choice. You can affect it, you can improve it, you can build it to be what you want it to be. And if you behave like that, you can get people to perceive you exactly the way you've designed your brand. My challenge today is go and think about your personal brand. Really spend some time with this. Go write stuff down. Ask people questions. Get advice from different people around who it is you want to portray. And then just go and live like that. Easy peasy. Maybe. But you can do it. Go for it. Right after you've liked and subscribed.